conference without a physically present quorum of the Rock Island City Council due to the disaster declaration issued by Governor Pritzker. Because of this order related to COVID-19 public health concerns affecting the state and the city, the mayor has determined that an in-person meeting at City Hall with all participants is not practical or prudent. Aldermen and staff may not all be physically present at City Hall due to the disaster, and physical attendance at City Hall may be limited. To participate remotely during the public comment or public hearing portion of the meeting, please join by phone at 1-531-600-8116 or use PIN number 108-415-415 hashtag.
Thank you. Do roll call.
Alderman Clark,
Here.
Alderman Hurt,
Here.
Alderman Spaghettis,
Present.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Here.
Alderman Parker,
Here.
Alderman Poulos, Alderman Guinan,
Present.
Mayor Tomes.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Do the pledge allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the United States of liberty. I'm not sure whose microphone's not muted, but thank you very much. Item number 6.
Minutes of the January 25th, 2021 meeting.
Move to approve the minutes. Poulos.
Second.
Did you get the second?
Second from Geddes.
Okay, thank you. Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Parker,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Guinan,
Aye.
Alderman Clark,
Aye.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderman Spaghettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
7-0, motion carries.
Item number 7.
Minutes from the August 24th, December 14th, and December 21st, 2020, and January 11th and January 25th, 2021 executive session minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes?
Swanson seconds.
Moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Parker,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos, Alderman Guinan,
Aye.
Alderman Clark,
Aye.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderman Spaghettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
7-0, motion carries.
Item number 8, public comment. Anybody, I know there's nobody in the audience here, but anybody virtually wish to speak? *6 will unmute your microphone. You don't see anybody out there? It appears there's nobody logged in, so we will move on. Item number 9, Rock Island update. Couple items. The city of Rock Island is hiring. There are several job openings for various positions within the city. All job positions, all job postings and job descriptions are available by clicking the Employment tab on the city's website at rigov.org. Select the job search and online application, the link, to find opportunities to join the finance, fire, and public works departments. It's also not too early to start thinking about that summer job. If you are available between May and November, Highland Springs and Saukey golf courses, along with Whitewater Junction, have several seasonal positions that have just opened for the 2021 season. Tax preparation assistance. The Martin Luther King Center is the site for the United Way's VITA program, which offers free tax preparation assistance for Quad Cityans with a household income of $57,000 or less. Hours are 5 to 7 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and 9 to noon on Saturday. This year, appointments are required at all locations, including the Martin Luther King Center. Schedule your appointment by calling 563-355-9900, or you can dial 211. Remote learning care. The Martin Luther King Center is offering remote learning care for K through 6 students in the Rock Island Milan School District. This includes supervised schoolwork until 2:30 and then after care until 5. There are currently a limited number of openings for 3rd and 4th graders. You can call 309-732-299 for more information. Thank you very much. Item number 10.
Claims. Claims A, report from the Human Resources Department regarding payment in the amount of $8,898.32 to David Morrison, Rock Island, Illinois, for legal services rendered from January 1st through January 31st, 2021. B, report from the Information Technology Department regarding payment in the amount of $19,724.88 to Rock Island County Sheriff's Office for the city's share of the RMS software annual maintenance. C, report from the Information Technology Department regarding payment in the amount of $50,194.44 to Harris Computer Systems for the Harris North Star Utility Billing System maintenance renewal for the period of April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2022. D, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $10,440.29 to McClintock Trucking and Excavating, Silvis, Illinois, for the Water Service Repair Program, Project 2526, for services provided at 1630 14th Street and 1641 14th Street. E, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $42,283.01 to McClintock Trucking and Excavating Incorporated, Silvis, Illinois, for the Sewer Lateral Repair Program, Project 2564, for services provided at 1807 31st Street, 3704 15th Street, 2601 21st Avenue, 1527 37th Street, and 2313 44th Street.
Alderman Poulos would make a motion to approve the claims on items A through E.
Alderman Guinan would second.
Alderman Hurt, second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Parker? Alderman Poulos?
Aye.
Alderman Guinan?
Aye.
Alderman Clark?
Aye.
Alderman Hurt?
Yes.
Alderman Spargettis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson?
Aye.
7-0, motion carries.
Item 10F.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $393,763.83 to Civil Constructors Incorporated, East Moline, Illinois, for payment number 35 for the water filtration facility, Project 2760, for services provided October 25th through November 26th, 2020.
Alderwoman Swanson moves to approve the claim, item F.
Alderman Hurt, second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
This is Alderman Parker. I need to recuse myself to the nature of my employment.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Guinan.
Aye.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yes.
Alderman Spargettis.
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item number 11.
Claims for the week of January 22nd through January 28th, 2021, in the amount of $1,433,325.91. January 29th through February 4th, 2021, in the amount of $308,059.34, and payroll for the weeks of January 11th through January 24th, 2021, in the amount of $1,536,338.09.
Alderman Pools, claims as read.
Second. Alderman Clark, second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Parker?
Aye.
Alderman Poulos?
Aye.
Alderman Geenan?
Aye.
Alderman Clark?
Aye.
Alderman Hurt?
Yes.
Alderman Spargettis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson?
Aye.
7-0, motion carries.
Item 12.
Report from the General Administration Department regarding a proposed settlement agreement with Cassandra Cleveland.
Alderman Spargettis moves to approve the settlement agreement as recommended and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Parker will second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Parker? Alderman Poulos?
Aye.
Alderman Geenan? Alderman Geenan?
No.
No?
No.
Alderman Clark?
Aye.
Alderman Hurt?
Yes.
Alderman Spargettis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson?
Aye.
6-1, motion carries.
Item 13.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding a proposed development agreement with LRC Developers for a new construction project at the Quad City Industrial Center property.
Alderman Poulos moved to approve the resolution as recommended and authorize city staff to draft a development agreement.
Parker will second.
In second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Parker?
Aye.
Alderman Poulos?
Aye.
Alderman Geenan?
Aye.
Alderman Clark?
Aye.
Alderman Hurt?
Yes.
Alderman Spargettis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson?
Aye.
7-0, motion carries.
Item 14.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the sale of city-owned real estate described as 1714 9th Avenue, parcel 096807, PIN number 0735442002, to Heart of Hope Ministries for $1,101 plus closing cost. First reading.
Alderman Clark moves to approve the sale as recommended, authorize the city manager to execute the sale agreement, and consider the ordinance.
Poulos will second.
Been moved in second. Any discussion?
I think this is a wonderful, wonderful endeavor for Heart of Hope.
Yes.
Could I amendment? This is Alderman Parker. Could I make am I allowed to amend motion that the what's it called? Ignore the rules or whatever, so that it passes with a supermajority with one reading.
With one reading.
With-
You want to suspend, yes,
Consider the ordinance, suspend the rules?
yeah. You would like to amend that. Go ahead.
You have to
I
take
just want to let-
off.
I believe we'd have to have a withdrawal from the second, and then the first withdraw it, and then reinstate it.
Poulos will withdraw the second.
Well, hold on.
So-
Do we really withdraw it, or can we vote on amending it? And then fails, then it is the regular motion, but if it succeeds, then it is to suspend the rules.
Someone's turn signal on, it's very hard to hear.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's already a withdrawal of the second, so whoever made the motion just needs to make the motion to suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Right, Ivory.
Suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
A motion to approve the sale as recommended, suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Thank you. All right, it's been moved and second. Is there any discussion?
This is Alderman Geenan. I think we all are in agreement that Heart of Hope is a good project for this. This is just to expedite the process so they can get the keys sooner. And I'm in favor of this, to suspending the rules, passing the ordinance.
I agree. I just can't believe that Mr. Parker's the one that did it.
Well, I really appreciate the fact that we have modified our practices so that not by default, and when the council believes it is something worth expediting, we can do so.
Yep.
This is acceptable use of this practice versus how it used to be, where everything was given to council the default to suspend the rules.
Right. No, and I'm glad we did it. I'm just poking the bear a little bit. So
And I talked to Pastor Linda Sargent today about this upcoming vote, and they're just they just can't wait to get inside this house. And she was talking about the way that the current vote is happening tonight, that they would most likely be till March till they could get keys. I think by suspending the rules, they might be able to get the keys 2 weeks earlier. Is that right, Randy?
Yeah, that'll speed everything up 2 weeks.
Yep.
I think that's just another good example of council listening to the needs of the community. Thank you.
I think it's a great deal. All right. We'll do a roll call.
Alderman Parker.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yeah.
Alderman Spaghettis.
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
7-0, motion carries.
Item 15.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding request to vacate a section of alley right-of-way between 9th and 10th Streets, south of 4th Avenue. First reading.
Parker will go ahead and move to approve the vacation and its conveyance to Ms. Gonzalez as recommended, that a utilities easement be put into place for same, and consider the ordinance.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Parker.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt. Alderman Hurt.
Turn the turn signal off and it went off.
Alderman Spaghettis.
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Yes.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 16.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding the motor fuel resolution forms for the Blackhawk Hills and River Heights reconstruction.
Spaghettis moves to approve the resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code and the request for expenditure/authorization of motor fuel tax funds as recommended, and authorize the city manager to execute the documents.
Swanson seconds.
Moved to second. Any discussion?
This is Alderwoman Swanson, and I don't know if any of you have driven down that road, either of those roads, but they're horrendous, and so I am very, very glad to see this moving forward.
Yes, they are.
Here to maintain infrastructure.
It's hard to hit. Dylan, sometimes you're a little garbled.
I was just saying, here's to infrastructure is all.
Yeah. Roll call, please.
Alderman Parker.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Alderman Clark.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt. Alderman Hurt. Alderman Spaghettis.
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 17.
Report from the Finance Department regarding an adjustment to the Parks and Recreation Fund budget for calendar year 2021, increasing revenues by $275,000 and expenses by $141,011.54.
Poulos will make a motion to approve the budget adjustments as recommended.
Alderman Geenan seconds.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Parker.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Alderman Clark,
Aye.
Alderman Hurt, Alderman Spargettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Item 18,
Report from the Finance Department regarding an adjustment to the calendar year 2021 budget, increasing the Public Works/Fleet Services budget by $9,116,000. I'm sorry, $9,116.72. I got extra
$9
zeros in
million.
there.
Parker move to approve the budget adjustment as recommended.
Pools will
Forget
second.
seconds.
it's been moved in second. Any discussion? Besides, what would you do with $9 million?
I'm sure Public Works appreciate $1 million.
That's exactly, yes. You might have had a heart attack in here.
He was just shaking his head saying now he can get the snow removed.
Roll call,
Is that-
please. Oh, I'm sorry, Dylan, were you going to say something?
No, making a joke. Go ahead.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Parker,
Aye.
Alderman Pulis,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan,
Aye.
Alderman Clark,
Aye.
Alderman Hurt, Alderman Spargettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 19,
Report from the Traffic and Engineering Committee regarding a request from the Fire Department to ban parking on the east and west sides of 33rd Street, 50 feet north and 50 feet south of 17th Avenue.
Clark moves to approve the request as recommended and consider the ordinance.
Forget seconds.
moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Parker,
Aye.
Alderman Pulis,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan,
Aye.
Alderman Clark,
Aye.
Alderman Hurt, Alderman Spargettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Thank you. We're now down to item 20, other business. Actually, and what I'd like to do is kick this off with a topic and an update. I guess I talked to several council people over this last week, and some were looking for an update on the downtown task force. So I'll kick that off, and there's really, I will say there's some things have been happening and some important things, but not a lot of them. And Dylan's on here, he can obviously add to this, Alderman Parker, and Miles, I believe, is on this call, so he can add to this also. But real quick, just to bring everybody up, the first several meetings that we had, I think everybody's up to speed, but one of the tasks the task force had was to, what kind of form did they want to see downtown? Did they want to see a downtown manager? Did they want to see the city, be it a city employee, a third-party contract? How to see it function, and how to pay for that. And the committee did some research. We had several meetings, but with this, we did a lot of discussion internally. Miles updated everybody on the general concept of the downtown, the 2015 Revitalization Downtown Plan. And then we also invited some guests to talk, and that was the Downtown Davenport Partners, the Downtown Bettendorf Partners, and Downtown Moline Partners. All doing the same thing, but two of them are doing third party, Moline is not. But we learned a lot of information from those individuals and took that data back and had a feeling that we wanted to use a third party. Some of this is all repeating, but I want to make sure everybody's up to speed. Use a third party. So then we contacted the city manager, and the chamber came up with a draft of a contract to take a look and see what that would be, cost-wise and function, job description, et cetera. Negotiate, then the the task force got back together again, reviewed those documents along with the legal staff of the city and the city manager, and we came up with a document for that, which all the council members have seen and actually approved I'll call it a month ago, I don't know exactly the date, but a little while ago, approved that contract, to sign the contract with the chamber to hire an individual for the downtown manager. The downtown, then the group has gotten together once or twice since then. This last time they got together, we talked about several different things, but the biggest issue was whether the liquor law should be, we should state for the bars to close, bars and restaurants to close at 2 a.m. versus 3 a.m., and what type of plan and that sort of thing. And that was at the request of the city council, I think 2 weeks ago, give or take. So we met, and the task force talked about a number of different issues, but ultimately, the task force felt that it was not their role, or their role and their place at this time, to give a recommendation for a 2 o'clock or a 3 o'clock closing. They felt that the council should be doing that. They also felt that it should, whatever the council decides to do, it should be, and I'm going to use the word permanent decision versus a sunset clause on it. Now, permanent, I'm going to step aside here, permanent being that no sunset clause, but it could be changed 6 months from now or after it's approved one way or the other, or a year from then or 2 years from then to a different time. So if they approved at 2 o'clock, it could be changed to a 3 o'clock. If the climate and environment changes, the council can change it to 3. If it's decided at 3 o'clock, the council can change it to 2, can change it to 1, whatever. There's nothing ever permanent. It's what at least the majority, 4 votes of the council decide they wish. So nothing's ever permanent. But not to have, the task force felt that it should not be a sunset date for a number of reasons. One, for the downtown manager's well-being, of him trying to, or her, trying to build a relationship with the building owners. 2 is that currently, short-term, to give a direction to the bars and restaurants so they know what type of staffing, what kind of inventory, what kind of marketing plan they can develop for the summer months of spring and summer of 2021 here, as the pandemic slowly gets eliminated and the rules get back to normal. And then they felt that there should be some type of a plan. Now, I'll call it a security plan for the most part, because that's what it is, safety plan, but it doesn't mean that that's the 100% of the plan. And they felt that that should, at this time, short-term, come from the city. So they also felt that they didn't have enough knowledge. Some of them were new enough at it. They didn't build the history that they could not be, felt that this is not a role that they should take on at this time.
Mr. Mayor, were they provided with any of the other reports or other, studies that have done through downtown through, I don't know, decades past? Were they provided with any context?
For the, Miles, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit. They were provided with copies of some of the different ordinances that were relevant to the discussion so that they could actually see what the council has been discussing and what they've been voting on. They are also aware of some of the longstanding issues in the downtown around security. And of course are familiar, as all of us are, with some of the issues much more recently, which contributed to this conversation coming up. I think that the mayor described the task force's view on this pretty succinctly. They basically feel that this is a policy decision that the council needs to make. Obviously, whatever that decision is now, it could change a year from now. If the council wishes to change, an ordinance back again, it only takes 4 votes on a Monday night. So the task force, I think, was very careful to not speak out of turn. And I think the council should be proud that we have a group of citizens who were so careful in providing, succinct feedback in the way that they did. So yes, I think that they had adequate information to make a recommendation, and they are basically just recommending that the council make a decision and commit to it for the time being.
Were they not provided with any of the downtown revitalization plans?
We actually, at a previous meeting, had reviewed that extensively. So I've walked them through all of that.
Okay.
Yep. And so, let me just then, the thought was, is this, once again, I remind people that this this task force, as soon as a downtown manager is hired, shortly after that, that will evolve more into a steering committee or a board, depending on the legalities of it and everything else, that downtown manager would chair, and we would incorporate additional members into it that have stakeholders, with the stakeholders downtown. And I guess throw out a couple like a Monterey Woodman or Royal Neighbors of the world. Matt Stern owns a number of properties down here. But some of the, not everybody, but some of the people that have a larger stakehold downtown, along with a couple smaller ones. So some people on this task force may phase off and add on these other people here in relatively short order. And so that becomes a board that is managed and driven by the stakeholders downtown. That it would not be city-driven at that point. And that eventually the city would have a seat on the board, as we all remember, and the city will have a seat. So we have input, and everything, most decisions will come to the city council, especially when it comes to spending TIF dollars. We would have them make presentations, what their thoughts are and what they're wanting to do. But the higher priorities that they felt is that this individual that's hired is, number one, is to build relationships with the businesses and building owners downtown, is probably the highest on the priority. And then right with that is then to take the revitalization plan and begin to develop priorities with that and dollars associated to then bring back a plan of how they see it moving forward. So I guess I'll pause for a second just to, Dylan, you want to add anything? Because I think I got another question I want to ask the council associated with this. But Dylan or Miles, is there anything I've missed as far as the update of the task force?
I will add my thoughts. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, that was a good summary, and Miles, thank you for the additional information. I really thought that the task force did a good job in identifying how difficult of a decision this is, as demonstrated by all of this that we've been going through for several months now. The public and we want to change our downtown. Things need to be improved, but at the same time, you don't want to harm businesses that are doing a good job down there at the same time, right? So they recognized how complicated and difficult of a decision this is, and frankly, there's no right or wrong answer. No matter what we choose to do, someone is not going to be satisfied with the decision. But I really took away from it how, regardless as to this decision, this council and this city needs to come up with a plan regarding securing downtown and improving public safety in our downtown. Whether bars close at 2 or 3 a.m., the status quo is not safe, as we've seen. So that is where my focus is at. I would encourage my colleagues to really focus on that part of this puzzle, because it's not going to be easy. But that was the overwhelming message that I got from the task force, was no matter what we do, it's got to be safe. So that's all I would contribute.
Okay, thank you. And that's very accurate. So with that, and actually dovetail that, is that the city manager and the police chief have been working this last week or so on trying to develop a plan and have, you know, they feel some options and everything else. Eventually, here they'll bring forth 2 weeks from now. But at the same token, it raises other questions. And so that's where the thought was, if we could have a little discussion tonight to help give some direction to putting this plan together. And there, once again, could be a short-term plan being, you know, now, another part being in, we'll call it April or May, when weather turns nice and people are outside. And then it could be another variation a year from now when we see some changes happening downtown with this task force and the investments and the infrastructure, et cetera. So it's going to be fluid, but we do need to address, obviously, priority, how the plan and what happens short term. With that, I guess what helps make some decisions is to kind of a vision and putting a vision out there. What is the council's vision? What do they see the downtown being? And one would be, and real quick, I'm not saying I'll give a vision, but when I talk about downtown, at this point, I think it's fair, and once again, I think those on the task force can correct me, but we are looking at not just the 2 or 3 blocks that we, as we know, downtown or the district or the plaza area. We're really thinking more of, we'll call it 15th Street, where Centennial Bridge is, down to at least 20th Street, if not 24th, and then from the river up to 5th Avenue, give or take. Make it go up to 7th. So that's why it's a little fluid, but I want people to think a little bit more of that general area, for the most part, as being downtown. And if that's not a fair evaluation of what that is to at least starting to talk with, please somebody speak up. But that's my envision that I have. Yes, Mark?
And I'll start off, again, I think most of the members know how I feel about, I'm not even going to address the closing district or the closing time at this time, because I think that's for another discussion. I recall back days when I first came into as a police officer in Rock Island, the downtown was very live. It had Ben's Gourmet House there on 17th Street. It had La Figaro down on 2nd Avenue. It had it had a men's clothing store. I mean, it was a safer place. I thought that we at one time had discussed the option of removing the plaza area between 18th and 19th Street. Is that still in the plan, or is that?
That is subject, and it's in there, and I can't think of the name of what they talked about that was expensive.
Well, the plan suggested a VUNERF, which is a fancy word for a street that almost doesn't look like a street. I think if we were to open it up, it would look similar to the section we opened up several years ago, with the exception of some wider sidewalks to allow for more dining on the sidewalk and drinking on the sidewalk in designated areas.
I guess my vision is to try to bring that ambiance back to the downtown where people, you would see people walking through the downtown area, and they would go to the men's clothing store we used to have down there. It was, I won't say it was kid-friendly, but it was, I mean, we have spaces down there, we have buildings down there that aren't being used, where an indoor rock wall could be utilized, something as for entertainment for young people, give them some place to, I won't say exercise, but find new skills. Other stores that would be more family friendly during the day, and then if we wanted to transition to a more, I don't know if the plaza area with the music that we used to have in the summertime, if that would be usable now, or if that would be a good plan for now. I think that's something we can look at down the road, but it's certainly, my vision is to make it more family friendly during the day, with restaurants, other amenities that will bring families to the district.
I agree, and once again, I think with that, it's, once again, I think I agree, and I've been to a number of cities where they transition. It's family-friendly, business-friendly downtown. We have small boutique-type shops, independents, for the most part, entrepreneurs starting up, incubators, business incubators, type of a setting, primarily for the day. A place that the office people downtown or people that live on this side that are headed home feel comfortable stopping and having, whether it be a cocktail, whether it be an appetizer, or dinner, and transition to that, and then you pick a time, but we'll call it 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, it could transition into more adult nightlife. But I got to say that I don't see as being as heavy of nightclub as we maybe have had at one time. I'm okay with bars. I'm comfortable with bars, but more boutique-themed type of bars. The Daiquiri Factory, Icons, just to name the names. The Country Western doesn't have to be small. Country Western's is a themed. So whether it's a piano bar, whether who knows what, as far as that type of atmosphere, versus the nightclub deal. Now, whether you had one of those or something like that, so there's not an abundance of any one type. It would be a vision of mine, also, and along with yours, that it transitions. But we need some retail down there also.
If I may add to that, and I know there were several establishments, I will say early 90s, that had dress codes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've talked to several people who used to come downtown, and they echoed the thoughts that my colleagues and I discussed time and time again. Is our vision is to make it a safe place for people to come to. And then we'll address the closing time at another time, but let's if we focus on safety and bringing people downtown, I think the other may fix itself.
What do some of the other council people think?
Well, Mr. Alderman Parker, I think the question for us, from what I'm gathering from your comments, Mayor, can everybody still hear me? Need
Yes.
to double check. Okay. The question I think that we are struggling with is whether we all want more vibrant downtown. We've said that since the 80s, since before, when we were in the same situation we are in today. We these family stuff.
Dylan, you're getting garbled again.
Okay.
Say that again. Did we lose you, Dylan?
Hear me now?
Right now, we can hear you clear.
Okay. So I think the question before us is whether we think that these new stores, the existing clubs, or that part of our downtown, of an existential. Do you need back or remove the nightclubs in order to the other?
Dylan, I don't know if the other council people are having troubles, but here at City Hall, we're still having troubles. And I feel bad. I'm trying to,
Oh, it's okay.
if you got another way to dial in, or you got a different microphone or something.
I have somebody else. I'll call in.
You're going to call in? Okay. While we're waiting for Mr. Parker to redial in, any other thoughts of other council people?
Mr. Go ahead, Jenny.
Oh, no, James, you go ahead. I can wait.
Well, I didn't have anything real new to say. I was just going to echo what I've been hearing around the table as far as having a goal to have something for everyone at all hours, that we have activities in the downtown. And I can remember a lot of the things that Alderman Poulos was talking about. I agree with what the mayor's been saying. So ideally, if we can have some things in the daytime and things in the evening, and the top priority is safety, I think we're moving in the right direction.
James, this is Alderman Geeden. I agree with what everyone else has shared. We also have to keep in mindset the YWCA is planning and most likely will occur in the next year and a half or so, a $11 to $13 million new facility in downtown Rock Island, which will hopefully encourage some development. I think, keeping mindful of all of the current projects also going on as we listen to what the committee comes up with. But I agree, having something in place for whatever manager comes in is better than having something to inherit. Does that make sense? Having something more hard-lined and then revisiting after they have time to get to know the area.
And this is Alderwoman Swanson, and I just, I agree with what everybody said. I think the key point is determining the perimeter of what is considered the downtown area, because that kind of drives the atmosphere, the clientele, and the environment that we want to have in that area. I think, as Alderman Geeden said, with the YWCA opening their new facility when it does come online, I mean, we want it to be family friendly. We want people to come down at all times of the day and the evening to frequent businesses. You have to be safe. You're not going to be able to get small businesses to move into the downtown area if the employees, one, have no place to go at noontime for lunch. And if they do go out, they don't feel safe because they're being accosted at the noontime. So I think safety is a key thing. I think the other thing to keep in mind is, if the downtown is not a safe area and it is not perceived as being safe, people aren't going to come. And so the businesses that are currently down there, well, they may be hoping that once, the weather picks up, that we're going to have this flood of people come down. If they don't feel safe, people aren't going to come down. So it behooves the business owners and the bar owners down there to work with the city to brainstorm ways to make it safe. And it doesn't all fall on the financial shoulders of the city, because this is a partnership between us and the business owners. So when times get tough, you don't cut your marketing, and have nobody know what you're doing. You invest more in your marketing, you invest more in making things safe. I agree, safety is a key thing, and we need to, look at ways to diversify the businesses that are down there. And as you and I talked, Mayor, a piano bar would be great. A wine bar would be great. Smaller shops, other businesses would be great to have in there. And those are the things that we really need to look at, a variety of businesses coming in so that you do have a family-friendly time. You have an evening time where, people want to come and have dinner and feel safe walking out of a restaurant at 8:00 at night. And then you want to have your nightlife, but at the same time, you want that nightlife to be a safe nightlife, because you also have, a lot of different aged people coming down. And we do have to be cognizant that we have a college that resides in our town. And so we want it safe for those students. And as a mom, I want to know that when my kids go off to school, that they're in a safe environment. So I think there's a lot of things that we need to look at, and a lot of things that go into what that downtown area is comprised of.
Mr. Parker, are you back on?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
All right, sorry. I don't know why Google Meet doesn't like me on my phone, but here I am. So I caught most of that while I was coming back on. I guess, returning back to the subject at hand, that's why, this is all very encouraging stuff. And it sounds like we are all 100% in agreement that we need to be more safe. We need to invest in more different types of businesses. That's why I have spent my time as 5th Ward Alderman, which represents this area, working to try to set up like the downtown task force like we have now, working to get an agreement in place with the chamber like our neighbors do, working to figure out how do we create more events down there, and improve the facade or the infrastructure or whatever, while not having the debate, I guess, the discussion about closing time that has been part of this city administration for long before you and I got on here, Mayor, and everyone else probably. So that's, I guess, my focus is how do we make sure that the downtown is safe without kicking out the legs underneath the last sector that exists in our downtown? How do we grow from here? And so that's where my focus has been. And I understand that it's all intertwined and interwoven. But I think that we can I think that we can get to where we want to get to, and this has been my position this whole time, and since I got on council in 2017. I think we can get to where the public, where downtown stakeholders want to get to without focusing on this closing time thing, but having a broader perspective and saying, no matter what time we close, we need to have security. We need to have a self-funding mechanism in place. We need to have infrastructure investment. We need to have staff that can actually knock doors and get businesses in there. Because it's that sort of systemic, structural aspect of this job of being on council that facilitates things happening. And so that's where I would ask our attention be, is to how do we create the systems that are going to grow our downtown, not focus on, whether it be a wine bar or whatever, right? So I hope you all understand that perspective.
Yes. Can I ask a philosophical question? And I don't want to belabor this whole issue, but we want to try to make sure that we get things aired out and that helping build a plan, we give enough direction in helping build a plan with being safe, because there's no doubt the things we talk about here in the vision are great, but they're not going to happen overnight. They're not going to happen by this April when weather turns nice. They're not going to happen even by June or July. You won't see changes potentially for 12 months to 24 months. But we can work on changing perception. We can work on other things. So let me just talk about real quick at fencing, because this has always been a debate that I've had with different council members and even staff. But when you put up fencing and have gates, does that make people feel safer because they're being checked, IDs are checked and they're wanding? Or does it make people shy away because they feel like, boy, if they had to go to that extreme, it's not safe? You can view it two different ways, in my opinion. And I guess I'd like to see if people were thinking fencing and gates or not, or how their impression of that is.
Representing the plaza, I would again say that we have an immediate need to secure the area. And even if we close at 2 versus 3, we need to be securing downtown earlier than 2 o'clock, because we've had incidents before 2 o'clock. So we have an immediate need to be safe, and so sure, do the fences. But that's, like you said at the very beginning of this conversation, Merrick, we're talking about 1 square block of our downtown. We cannot focus and have all of this newspaper ink and headache amongst us as a council and strife about 1 square block, while, the blocks and blocks of other parts of downtown, 5th Avenue, 4th Avenue, even 3rd Avenue down the street by Rostock's and that place, that is an incredible arts community that we need to be growing. I guess in response to your question, sure, do the fencing thing for right now until we have more long-term growth in place. There's a need to be safe. There's a need for it right now, but don't only focus on that 1 block.
Correct. Well said.
But if I understand the way you were going, is the perception of the people that that we're trying to draw down, regardless of what business is open.
Right.
And I think that would be a question best answered by looking at some of the other communities with vibrant downtowns and seeing what they're facing, what they have faced, and how they've addressed it, to see whether or not the wanding and the gates, I totally understand and agree with, you put up gates and it puts up an impression of an unsafe atmosphere. In years past, and the chief could probably weigh in on this as well, we had the gates there primarily to control and to help pay for the plaza activities where it was costing extra. They had to have the gates up there to allow paid entry. I don't think it was so much at that point. It was so much as a safety measure. Where what we're looking at is more of an attempt to put up a facade of absolute safety. Clearly, it is easier to warn somebody that if you're going to do something like that, but it does put out a message, you know, maybe this isn't the most safe place to be. I think maybe one of the surveys that we get from time to time would be, could be put out and get the opinion from the public. If you saw
Yes.
this, what would you think? Would you consider coming down there if it was A or if it was B? And let's get,
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
I've been to downtown Chicago plenty of times where I've had to go through a metal detector, and it's never once deterred me from going to a nightclub portion of Chicago. Obviously, we're not Chicago, but my point is, it has never deterred me from going out on a Friday night, especially back when I was of the college age that enjoyed doing that more so than I do now. But also, you're completely right. It sends a message, or sends an image, perhaps. However, that image is after midnight, which I'm not, you know, what nightlife, I mean, this is a nightlife economy. That's exactly what this is. And if we're not comfortable with having a nightlife economy at all, then that's one discussion. If we want to have a daytime economy and a nighttime economy, well, then that's going to come with things like at midnight having wanding happen. But I think the two can coexist. And that's, I guess, my point.
I think they can too. My opinion, I think they can coexist. Mr. Hurt, are you on here? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, this is Swanson. I was going to say that, you know, I think if you were to go ahead and have like the portable event fencing that, you know, goes off when there's events in the district, you know, on weekends, if you had fencing or gating like that go up, say, at 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday nights, you know, I don't think that that would be an obtrusive, offending thing to have. I think that, you know, if you have that gated off area, like from 10 until 2, and you're wanding and checking IDs, I think that, you know, in an entertainment district, that can somewhat be expected, especially, you know, I'm sorry, especially with the reputation that our downtown has right now. I mean, if you want to just start bringing people back, they have to feel some degree of safety and security.
And that's what our business owners are asking. I'll just throw that in there too. Business owners down there are asking for support from the city to help them fence and wand.
Yes.
Mayor, I was just going to say that we've had events down there where people weren't turned away by the fencing. It actually seemed like it brought more people to the downtown when we had it in a safe mode, looking like we're checking IDs. We're making sure that not anyone is just coming in there and causing trouble. We look like we're actually have the downtown secure. So I think that's not a bad idea to think about that fencing.
Okay, that's, looking for that input.
Another question I would have is if we're going to wait until 10 o'clock to put up the fence, or if we're going to go with the fence idea, you have people that are already on the inner perimeter, if you will. So in order to better assure that people are not bringing something in ahead of time, that's something, again, that the police department would have to address, a plan to at least minimize the probability of that happening. And I don't know what that answer is. That's,
Yeah, we'll let city manager and the police chief work
handle
on that.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we get everybody's thoughts. Mr. Hurt, are you on here? Dr. Hurt? He's not on? Okay. Let me just throw this out and not, did somebody want to say something?
No, go ahead, Mayor.
I was going to then just, once again, I'm going to dive down a little more details, is the type of fencing. Do people feel comfortable with the bike rack type fencing that's been used down there? Or during the Gumbo Yaya and You Make It My Weekend, they did more of the snow fence type product that maybe was a little taller. Do people have a flavor what type of fencing that they would envision being okay? Or don't? Go ahead.
I don't really feel like I'm a security professional enough to know what type of fencing is more effective or appropriate or whatnot. I think, first off, it sounds like we're getting really, really focused on the fence, and that's not the only piece of this puzzle.
Correct.
We can't just put up a fence and say, okay, problem solved. We're going to have to man it. We're going to have to figure out what are we going to do about people loitering in parking lots around the fenced off area. I mean, this is where, the fence can't just be the only part of this, and I would just caution us to not focus on that. To answer your question, I don't know. It seemed like the bike rack style fences that we used yesterday, or not yesterday, but last year, and we regularly use for stuff down there, work fine. I don't know what the cost difference or what the benefit would be of silt fences. I don't know. Talk to a professional fencing company about that, but
I'm trying to
ultimately one piece of the puzzle.
Right. What I'm trying to do is take a look, where it does fall in is cost. Is I don't mean to focus on just that 1 or 2 block area either, but the same token is right now that's where the short term, when there's if there's going to be a cost and what it be, these things make a big difference. And how many people you have in there? Do you have a private firm? Do you have the city police? Do you have do you buy new fencing? Do you use existing fencing? Those all can make a big difference on building this plan and what the cost of that is. There's talk about doing lighting, having some lights coming on automatically, which I think is fine, is positive. There's talk about adding some more cameras. There's talk about, so those are the things they're also thinking about, not just fencing. But I'm just trying to think of, as they're building the plan, so they can come to the city council with the right answers 2 weeks from now, so we can make an intelligent decision on that part of it also, and not waste money.
I think if you want to look at the optics of making it not oppressive and really heightening that this is an unsafe, dangerous place, I think the bike rack type fencing, which is portable and can be moved in and out quickly without a ton of manpower, it gives the impression of a barrier, a barricade, but it's not so intrusive that it makes you think, oh, this is unsafe and this is like a place that really needs to be policed. So I think you have to think about that too, is we want people to come, we want people to feel safe, but we also want them to come downtown.
Yep.
Would it be appropriate then for each of the members to send ideas to the city manager so that he can discuss them with the chief and try to narrow down?
Sure, you can send ideas to me. The chief is working on something, and so is Public Works, and we'll have those numbers and information this week. But if you think of something else you'd like to see, please send it on.
I don't want to get into a point where council is trying to micromanage a plan that you and the chief or you and Public Works were trying to put together. I think it's important that you have our thoughts, and I'm very appreciative of the discussion here because I think that we're very close in what we really want to see as our vision as making the downtown a safer place to be. Now, you were asking about what kind of businesses we were looking for downtown, and that may be something that council members could send to the city manager and to forward to you and Alderman Parker.
Yeah, and eventually that runs across the task force or the steering committee at that time, downtown manager, and then Dari and that sort of thing. So when they're out soliciting businesses and looking at growing, they have those thoughts.
But as chair of the committee,
yes,
we need to.
Yes.
And going through the city manager doesn't violate any OMA issues or anything like that. So that.
Well, those are good.
Yeah, I think we know what kind of business this council wants. If you have a specific business someone is looking, then send them our way. But I think we know what the council wants down there.
Okay.
And if I may offer one little thing about the 2015 downtown revitalization plan, it's very interesting for us all to note that everything that everyone has said this evening is exactly what the plan talks about. right? So we want to retain the kind of high-quality nightlife that is currently present in the downtown, but we also want to flesh out and have a greater variety of businesses at all times of day and all days of the week. So it's encouraging to know that the plan from 2015 is still essentially in line with what sounds like is the consensus of the council, which is that we want a balanced downtown business environment where there's a spot for everything and everyone.
Yep. Is there anything on this topic that people wish to bring forth at this time? If not, it's still open business. Is there any other topics and issues that people would like to talk about and bring forth?
So I guess for staff, though, currently there's a restriction on the liquor licenses. They end at 2 a.m., and if no action is taken, at the end of the month, they go back to 3 a.m. So does council want staff to bring that ordinance forward again for discussion in 2 weeks?
I think we need to address it, and, members can vote as they see appropriate.
I
I agree.
Oops, you blended together.
We both agree.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a decision has to be made on this. However, also make sure that we include security discussion as well, like we've been having here tonight.
Yes. Got the answers you wish? Okay. Okay. Is there any other topics anybody wishes to bring forth? Once again, I'll say that our sympathy and prayers to you, Mr. Spargettis, on your loss. It's tough, and so.
Thank you, sir.
If there's nothing else, we have item number 21 for a motion to adjourn.
Alderwoman Swanson moves to adjourn.
Parker, seconds.
Moved in second. Any discussion on that? Probably not. I'm not going to give you a second to think about it. Roll call, please.
Alderman Parker?
Aye.
Sorry, Alderman Poulos?
Aye.
Alderman Keenan?
Aye.
Alderman Clark?
Aye.
Alderman Hurt? Alderman Spargettis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson?
Yes.
6-0, motion